It was 3:17 a.m. when she thought I was asleep. I lay perfectly still, my back turned to her, breathing slowly and evenly. The door creaked softly, followed by the sound of footsteps on the carpet. Then I heard her heels carefully slipping off, deliberate, like someone sneaking in after curfew. The scent of an unfamiliar cologne hanging in the air, one I didn't wear. She moved cautiously, as if the darkness could conceal the guilt she carried. But I wasn't asleep. I hadn't been for hours. Every change in her routine, every late meeting, each vague excuse had built up into a solid wall of certainty. She eased into bed beside me, the mattress dipping under her weight. She sighed contentedly, as though the night had been exhausting but just as she liked it. That was when I knew for sure she hadn't just lied. She felt no remorse. She thought I didn't know. She thought I was still in the dark. She didn't know that I had pieced it all together. Bank statements with charges from places she swore she'd never visited. A second phone tucked away. A hotel reservation under an alias. Her alias, from the days when we were still falling in love. That was the part that hurt the most. The tricks she once used on me were now used to deceive me. I didn't react. I didn't yell or demand answers. I remained quiet, because sometimes silence cuts sharper than any accusation. While she was off at what she called a last-minute networking dinner, I prepared my exit. I cleared out my side of the closet, clothes, shoes, even the wedding photo she insisted we keep in the center. The bed was stripped of my side. The dresser drawers emptied. The safe cleared out. My name erased from the lease. The bills, gone, even the Netflix account. And then I placed the envelope on her pillow. It sat there, waiting for her, sealed with divorce papers already signed. The only words inside were written in thick black ink. I hope he was worth it. I didn't wait to see her reaction. Instead, I drove to a quiet spot down the street, parked, and watched as the bedroom light flicked on. The blinds weren't completely shut, and I could make out her figure, standing frozen beside the bed. I imagined her hand reaching for the envelope, her breath catching, realizing the truth. I didn't need to see her face. I already knew what it would look like. Shock, disbelief, the crushing realization that I wasn't as oblivious as she thought. Her phone calls started around dawn, 30 in total. Each voicemail was filled with panic, confusion, her voice trembling in a desperation that once felt like home. I didn't respond. I refused to engage in a fight. I had spent years pouring my heart into someone who drained me each night. Instead, I checked into a quiet guest house on the edge of town. The owner handed me the keys with a smile, not asking questions. The first morning there, I woke without the weight of suspicion. I made coffee, sat by the window, and watched the sun rise over a world where I was no longer tangled in her lies. Freedom didn't come without its pain. Walking away is never clean. That night I cried. I screamed into a pillow, mourning not just the loss of a marriage, but the version of myself that had stayed too long. Yet, in the midst of it, I felt something unshakable. I had chosen truth, and that was worth every ounce of grief. 2 weeks passed without a single word from me. Friends reached out, unsure of what had happened. My aunt was always the same. Ask her. Word spread quickly, but she never admitted her betrayal. Instead, she made sure everyone knew how I suddenly left, how I had become distant, as if she expected me to stay and keep swallowing her lies. Then one morning, I opened the cabin door and there she was. No makeup, hair tied back, eyes swollen from sleeplessness. She looked at me as if I were a stranger from another life. Aching, uncertain, longing for something familiar. Please, she whispered. Can we talk? I stepped aside, not out of pity but for closure. She slowly walked in, her eyes scanning the bare wooden walls. We sat across from each other. She began to explain how it wasn't supposed to happen, how she felt something was missing in herself, how the other man made her feel alive in ways she thought I couldn't. I listened, silently, as her voice faltered and her eyes filled with tears. When she finished, I spoke the only words I had been rehearsing since the night I knew the truth. You lost me the moment you lied. The room fell into a thick silence. She reached for my hand, just like she had done so many times before, hoping for forgiveness. But I didn't move. I let her fingers hover in the empty space between us. The same way all the promises she'd broken had left the space between us hollow. I stood, walked to the door and held it open. "Goodbye," I said. She didn't beg or plead. She simply stepped outside into the cold morning. And for the first time, she understood what it meant to have nothing left to hold on to.